Even though I am very fond of animals and a vegetarian, I don't think I anthropomorphize very much. In other words, I don't think animals think, feel, or reason to the extent that humans do. So it really surprises me sometimes when they kinda act like they do think and feel on a deeper level than I give them credit for. This is a story about when a goat showed unexpected gratitude and trust after I saved her life. Damsel, as I called her, was a La Mancha dairy goat. I got her when she was just a few months old. She wasn't very friendly and didn't want much of anything to do with me. After a little while, she started acting kind of sickly and weak. Since she wouldn't let me mess with her much, I had to put her in a small pen so I could check on her and try to figure out what was going on. She had a lot of congestion, runny nose, and was just overall weak. I didn't know nearly as much about goats then as I do now. When her face started to swell, I looked it up and learned about bottle jaw, which is often the result of barber pole worms making a goat anemic. Sure enough, when I checked her gums, they were ghostly white. Since she was still in the small pen, I was able to catch her for better treatment. I figured she'd hate me for sure when this was over, but maybe I could make it up to her later. I started catching her several times a day and forcing her to drink vitamin supplements. I also gave her a dewormer. None of it was stuff she liked. Then one day I was giving her some sweet treat, hoping to keep her from hating me too much and to help her keep up her energy. And then I turned to gather some eggs. That's when I heard her make a funny noise. I turned around and saw she was on the ground, passed out. I ran to her and found she wasn't breathing. The feed I had given her got caught up in her congestion and lodged in her throat, so she couldn't breathe. She was lifeless. I hated that. She'd been getting better. Her gums had been turning redder, and she wasn't as weak. How could I lose her now that I was making progress? So I did rescue breaths on her. Years ago, I'd tried to do mouth-to-mouth on a goat that had been electrocuted, and it didn't work. But since then, I'd learned in my CPR class that if you can't form a seal over a person's mouth, you can do rescue breaths through the nose. So I figured the same might work for goats. I breathed into her nose. After a few breaths, she started gasping, but then stopped breathing again. I did a few more, and suddenly she let out a big breath and stood up. She'd made it. Here's when she did something I wouldn't expect. Somehow she seemed to know that I had really helped her when she was in a bad way, because after that, she wasn't afraid of me anymore. Even as I continued to give her supplements she didn't like, she didn't run away. She grew up to be a good milker and never acted so wild again. I sometimes wonder if she had some kind of near-death experience where she saw I was trying to save her. And that's the story of when a goat showed a bit more gratitude and appreciation than I was expecting.